Hello everybody and welcome back to the United Stand. It is the morning show. I am Beth Tucker and I'm giving you all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news this morning. And we have some cracking news, whichever way you look at it. Antoine Semenyo release clause is revealed. We are going to be getting into it. Should Manchester United just do it? Ruben Amorim has already approved this transfer previously. We did go for him start of the summer and also early last year. I think we'd begun talks with Antoine Semenyo in March for a possible transfer. It didn't happen. Could we go back in with Liverpool looking at him as well? With Sesko's injury news, is that the right forward to go for? Or is it just one of them where you want everything? You want it all. You want all the presents under the Christmas tree. When realistically, do you actually need them all? We've got Mbeumo, we've got Ahmad, we've got Cunha, we've got Mount, we've got Zirkzee. Do we need Antoine Semenyo? But is this just too good of a deal for Manchester United to pass up? Where would he work? Should we sign him? We've already got a poll running, so get voting in that. I will have my say. I'm going to say straight off the bat, I would do it. I would do it. I would do it. Just do it. And you're going to think you're just getting carried away. You want all the shiny toys. I think he's too good to pass up an opportunity to get him for a fee which fits into the same bracket as the Brian Mbeumo, as the Mateta Cunha, and a player that could really improve our squad, our front line. And with Sesko being out injured, it could be an alternative to go and getting another striker. We know Ruben Amorim likes to play with versatile forwards as well. So get your votes in. We've also got Casemiro, new contract stuff to talk about as well. Stuff on Ligt, really impressing across the international break. Vital player for Manchester United. And I think he's finally starting to get his flowers. How important is he? And we have to build around him. New centre-backs. Manchester United are looking at them for the summer. And how does that impact where the money is going to be going for Manchester United? Because we know we've not got loads of money. We are trying to set up some mid-season games, but we've not got infinite amounts of budget to go and spend on every single position in the summer. So if you do spend on Semenyo in January, how does that affect going for two midfielders, a centre-back, a wing-back, a goalkeeper even, people have been talking about? So I want you to have your say on where your priorities lie and where you want to spend each chunk of money. Let's get interactive. Let's talk about it. How much money or how much of your budget, top percentages, are you putting towards each position? How would you prioritise them? I want you to let me know that. And also as well, a little bit on Joshua Zirkzee and his potential future. We will talk about that. But loads to get into this morning. I do have to, first and foremost, before we get into anything, get our teeth into it, I do have to apologise because this 10 a.m. show usually goes live at 10 a.m. and I know how frustrating it can be when you are waiting for something or you have something scheduled in and it doesn't end up happening until half an hour later. Completely out of my control. I was here ready to go and we wanted to go live with you quicker than what we have done. We wanted to be here at 10 a.m. but sometimes things happen and it doesn't work out. So we got on air for you at 10:30 and I am sorry that I'm coming to you late because it is frustrating. So thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for all your comments and I'll make sure it's a good show for you guys. Bolver, I wasn't stuck in traffic today. I was here. I was ready. Raring to go. So yeah, sometimes there's things that you just can't avoid. So we're here and we're ready to get on with it. Let's get started. Let's get started with a bit of Semenyo news. Now this, when I saw it come out late last night, I thought, I cannot wait to talk about that on the morning show. By the way, absolutely love doing the morning shows. I know everybody, loves Goldbridge doing them. I love Goldbridge doing them as well, but a morning show just kind of hits different sometimes. The fresh news, fresh day, attack the day, as Gary Neville would say. It gets you up for the day and it gets you in a good mood to kind of talk about everything in the morning and get everyone's opinions in. So, Antoine Semenyo, and this is coming out from Mike McGrath at The Telegraph. Antoine Semenyo has a £65 million release clause in his Bournemouth contract, valid until January. He declined offers from Manchester United and Tottenham to sign a new deal with this clause. The fee includes £60 million guaranteed plus £5 million in add-ons, and it will decrease slightly next summer, but not below £50 million. So this has been confirmed. Semenyo's release clause has been confirmed. Ben Jacobs has spoken about it. David Ornstein has spoken about it. The Athletic have put it out there. David Ornstein works for The Athletic and works with The Athletic. So it's from really, really good sources that this is coming out, that Semenyo is absolutely there. First 2 weeks of January, £65 million. Apparently, it does decrease slightly if clubs wait until the summer, but it doesn't fall below 50 million. People might say, let's just wait until the summer, let's see if we can get it cheaper. Clubs will be circling. They will be circling. Look at the vein of form Semenyo's in. Look at what he did last season. Look at how he's kicked off this season. Liverpool apparently are waiting to pounce on this deal. If United don't get in the queue for January, they won't get him. He will. You can never put absolutely 1,000% onto anything, but I could pretty much guarantee that Antoine Semenyo will leave Bournemouth in the first 2 weeks of January. I just don't see a situation where a club doesn't take this opportunity to be first in line and go and get him for a really good price. Yeah, it's not as if he's got a 35 million release clause, but Antoine Semenyo, if he didn't have that 65 million release clause, it might be much more difficult to do the deal. He's absolutely smashing it in the Premier League, and he fits into the same price category as a Bryan Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha, two players who have come into Manchester United and really improved us and taken us up to that next level. And Semenyo could do the same thing. So apparently United are considering moving for him. I think where United are probably at is, do we want to lay out another 65 million on a forward player when we've got two midfielders to buy in the summer and we've got a wing back to get, potentially two wing backs to get? We want to get a left-sided centre-back in. Are we really going to spend another 65 million on another forward? However, Semenyo does tick a lot of boxes. Ruben Amorim has already approved this transfer. There was talks last year in March that Semenyo was having meetings with Manchester United and we were seriously interested in him. He was absolutely one of the names on the list for the number 10 spots, with Bryan Mbeumo, with Cunha, who we ended up getting, and with a few other names as well. So he's approved. He's a versatile forward. He could play right-sided 10. He could play left-sided 10. I actually think he could play up front if you wanted him to as well. There's talks of him playing as a wing-back. I do not see that happening. Some people like to dream, could he be a left wing-back? He's in a rich vein of form, and he's a forward who loves getting forward. He's great at scoring goals, good at creating assists. He's a workhorse and he does work hard, so that'll help. But he reminds me of that Bryan Mbeumo type figure. He's going to get forward, he's going to contribute, but you're not going to play him at wing back really. I think he could chip in there, but I don't think it would be his position. But Ruben Amorim has opted for a versatile front line on many occasions. In big games, he's gone with Cunha up front, he's gone with Mount up front before. He's not absolutely sold on playing Benjamin Sesko every single game yet. With Benjamin Sesko's injury, there could be a situation where there could be an opening. However, you do have to look at it, and I'm giving you two sides of the coin here, and think, you spent 65 on Bryan Mbeumo. I think you spent around 63 on Cunha. You spent 70 on Benjamin Sesko, and don't get me wrong, I really hope Benjamin Sesko comes to life and has a massively successful Manchester United career, and I'm backing him to do so. I really want him to prove people who are already getting onto his back wrong. I've said I'm not going to criticise Sesko. Well, you can criticise, but I'm not going to judge Sesko until the end of the season. I'm really not. He's a 22-year-old that's adapting to the Premier League and once again has been thrown into a pressure cooker situation. He's been in and out the team. He's not had 100% confidence, I don't think, from Amorim yet, and now he's got an injury. So I'm not writing Sesko off at all, as much as he hasn't had the same sort of impact as an Mbeumo or potentially a Cunha. Cunha's been a little bit hit and miss, but he's been mainly hit. Sesko is a different kettle of fish. He is what Goldbridge has said before, a learner driver. He is adapting, he's potential. Bryan Mbeumo's for the now, Cunha's for the now, and the Premier League proven, they're adapted, they're a little bit older, they're expected to come in and hit the ground running, which they both have. Sesko's going to need a little bit more adaptation. But with Antoine Semenyo, he can help with that. He's a versatile type forward, he is Premier League proven, no adjustment period needed, comes straight into the team and makes an instant impact. And he would definitely get game time. So is it a bit more of a luxury signing? Probably, especially when you've just spent the best part of nearly 200 million on forwards. Yeah. So it would be luxury, But I do think he would be a really good signing. I think he'd scored many goals. I think he'd contribute. I think he would work well in this system, and I have no doubts he'd be a success. You can only play 11, and when everyone's fit, it does give Ruben Amorim a question to answer. Who is your best front line? Mason Mount's game time goes down the pecking order then. Joshua Zirkzee would have to go, I think. But it's exciting. It really is exciting. I could see Cunha, Mbeumo and Semenyo working together in a front three. I absolutely could. I could see Mbeumo going up front with Semenyo pulling to the right, Cunha to the left. I could see Cunha going up front with Semenyo pulling to the right and Mbeumo pulling to the left like he did last game. All of these players are so good that they can play every single one of them positions. Like, they can do it. And they can do it to a good standard. Brian Mbeumo against Spurs, everyone was like, why is he playing on the left? Goes and scores a goal and has a fantastic game. Cunha, I prefer him in the left-sided 10. I think it's his best position. But he can do a job for you up front. He can. And just like with Semenyo, he's a quality Premier League proven footballer that can do a really good job in that front line. So I would be really tempted with this. And plus, I don't want Liverpool to get him. Replacing Salah with Semenyo, and I know it wouldn't be an instant replacement, but it would kind of be a passing of the baton. That is what you call fantastic business. It really is. And he's going to go somewhere, and he's either going to terrorise us or terrorise other teams for us. So, yeah, I'd like him. If you ask me honestly, do I think United will do it? I don't think we'll go and pull the trigger on 65 mil. Even though it's a good price, and I think Amorim would like him, and I think he fits what we're trying to do. And I think he would absolutely get game time. I know that United would be tarnished with how many number 10s do you need. That's what he'd come into the headlines. But I think in that front line he'd do really well, and I think in the long term it could be worth it. However, it is a big risk when we've got so many other positions you need to fix. And this is, again, I'm going to get into the chat in just a second. This is what happens when you don't fix everything at the right time. Everything builds up. And then you're in a situation where you really want to go and get this forward player that's up for a really good price, but you're thinking about two midfielders, a centre-back and all these other positions. You know, it's like when you've just let your house rot and get dirty and get horrible and like things need replacing, pipes are bursting. Do you know what? I would really, really love a new couch. I would love a new couch. A corner couch, little poof so you can lie down on it, make it like a bed, loads of nice throws from John Lewis. I would love that. But I've got to spend my wage on fixing all of this rubbish that has built up for months. You know, if that's what you let happen to your house, no judgment. You know, sometimes things happen in life, but you've got to keep on top of things is what I'm trying to say. Like, and with Semenyo, I would love to go and get him, but with United, there's only so much money we can spend, and there is other positions we want to go and get. It's like your dream couch is on sale, and it's a one-time only. And once it's gone, somebody else picks it up. You are never getting it again. It's not coming back out. Like, that is it. One-time deal only. You know, your dream couch is on sale for, I don't know, 30% off, 40% off even. 30% probably when you look at 65 million. But you've got loads of other things that you really kind of need to address. You need to fix the cracks in the wall. You ideally need to get the carpet changed because it's all grubby. I mean, the skirting boards could do with a jazz up. And then you're like, do I just leave that for a bit longer and get this couch while it's on a one-time deal? And that's the situation that Manchester United are in. But yeah, anyway, that was a long-winded analogy of where we're at. Antoine Semenyo for 65 mil, yes or no? Get your votes in. I'm going to pick yes. 64% of you say yes. Wow, okay. I really expected it to be more on the opposite side. I thought it was going to go 64%, 36% the other way. I thought most of you would say no because you're so fixated on fixing the midfield and spending all the money on that area. So people are open to it. Where would we even play him? Lewis Jones, where would we even play him? Lewis, have you watched the first, how long have I been going? 14 minutes of the show. I've just spent about 10 minutes explaining to you where he'd play. In the front line. As a versatile type forward who can play multiple different positions because he's a very good player. The same as Mbeumo, same as Cunha, that's where he would play. So, yeah. Away Stooob says, our priority is seeing Queen Beth live every day. Thank you very much for your support on your super chat there. Smash a like on the video, everyone, by the way, Tuesday morning. Don't know if you caught up with Goldbridge's little video he put out at around 2 a.m. I watched it while I was waiting earlier. And New York City, I know quite a few people in New York watch the show, so maybe you'll be watching this when you get up. Maybe you saw Goldbridge's video. I think he's been recognised quite a bit over there, actually. So yeah, I hope he has a good time. It was nice to get like a little update on how he's feeling about a few things. But we're taking the reins. We're taking the reins this week and getting into all of the news ourselves and talking about all the stuff that's coming out regarding United at the moment before the Monday night game, late one this week. Get Stiller more important, says Neil Mackay, and a couple people talking about the idea of Mateta. Oh, this could be a good poll. Crossvium says, I would absolutely get Semenyo and Gallagher in the January window if we can sweep in. We know Amorim likes both prospects. And that's the thing. If Amorim's approved them, that's an absolute tick. For me, I said I'd rather go for João Gomez, who's on the agenda in January. I said that yesterday. I think he's got a higher ceiling. He's a good ball carrier. His interception rate is really high. Defensive duel rate's good. Gets around the pitch really well. Premier League proven. Can hit the ground running. And the thing is with João Gomez is, I think if João Gomez does come into Manchester United, which is a possibility, we've been scouting him, we've been linked to him for quite a while now, like for a number of years, and Ruben Amorim apparently likes him. That's what's being reported, and he's pushing for it. And Wolves are willing to let him go for a cheaper price because of the trajectory that they're on, which is heading towards relegation. I think he'd be a good signing. It's not an Anderson, it's not a Wharton, but I think it's a really good signing. The only thing is, if he comes in, I think that's bye-bye Ugarte. I think Ugarte is absolutely gone because they play the similar type of role. They are like a wasp that gets around the pitch, can intercept the play and kind of starts them transitions. But João Gomez is just doing it better right now in the Premier League, and he's got more Premier League experience under his belt. He's still young though, João Gomez, 24, so got a high ceiling, ball carrier the same way Ugarte is, but Ugarte I just don't think has the confidence. Whether that can come out of him, I'm not sure. I think it's in there. But I think João Gomez would be an Ugarte replacement if he did come in. So that would mean parting ways with Ugarte. So you could have a situation where, really, I mean, I don't see Man United being able to do all of this. But if they got cracking in January, you could have a situation where João Gomez replaces Ugarte and you get him in the January. And then in the summer, you get a Casemiro replacement, an Elliot Anderson or whoever, whichever one we go for. I'm hoping it's Elliot Anderson. I know we're strongly linked to Baleba right now. And then if Bruno decides to depart, you can then go and get a Bruno replacement, a Stiller, or you might want to play an Anderson and a Baleba together. Who knows? Mainu could be back into the forefront by then, but I still think you need probably one more. You'd probably need, say if you got João Gomez as an Ugarte replacement, you got an Anderson as a Casemiro replacement, you probably need one more who can cover both as like an 8/6 hybrid role. United, I could see them doing that, especially if you get João Gomez for a good price. So I know you spoke about getting Gallagher and Semenyo. I'd be getting Semenyo and João Gomez. If it's between João Gomez and Gallagher, I know Gallagher has been approved by Amorim, but I just think João Gomez, if he's also been approved, he's got the higher ceiling, is the bigger prospect for me. Gallagher would add squad depth, but it's not something that I think is a long-term succession plan. I think it's a stopgap because we're in desperate need. Ian Tracy says, midfield and wing-back are the priorities, but we'll need another attacker when we have European football next season, and Semenyo covers all of the front line. I agree, Ian. It's called planning in advance. It's called planning in advance. You know, I need to stop with these analogies. I can't stop this morning, and they're all rubbish as well, so laugh at me in the comments. It's like buying your bikini for your summer holiday in January, you know? Plan in advance. You've got it done, you've got it out of the way. And you know what? If you have a nice spa day for your friend's birthday in February and you want to whip it out, you've got it there. And Semenyo's there to come and help cover. So the fact he can cover that other striker role that we might be missing if Zirkzee goes and if Sesko does get injured or isn't available, with 2 games a week, we absolutely will need more cover. We need more high quality cover. So I think that's a really good point there from Ian Tracy as well. Savage says Anderson, Wharton, Stiller and Robinson. Culture Spot says we need more goals, so I think that's a priority. Dorgu could still play in behind Semenyo. I do think we need a wing back, but Dorgu is young and I'm hoping he's just going to keep improving week by week and game by game. Kane Storm's Academy says Ruben is really looking for work ethic players who can also play football. No more lazy players at United. That is why the Semenyo signing would be great for United. I would love this signing to happen. Yeah, and I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Okay, yeah. Right, let's go through it. Because every signing that Ruben Amorim has made has been in a collaborative effort with Ineos and with the recruitment team. The recruitment team they have in place, led by Omar Barada, Jason Wilcox, and you've got other members behind the scenes as well. It's a collaborative effort. We've heard that from multiple top-tier journalists. Ben Jacobs has said it on the show. But if you look at every signing we have made under Amorim, they are all workers. They will work their absolute socks off. Dorgu, is he the most talented player as of now? In my opinion, no. He's one of the weaker players in the squad. However, you cannot criticise that guy's work ethic. He's up and down, doing everything he can. He runs his socks off. And I really hope everything comes together because he's got potential. He's raw, but he's young. He's 20. So I'm hoping the good attributes that he have, you start seeing more of pre-season Dorgu come into the Premier League. That's what I want to see, and hopefully that happens. But he absolutely works hard. Aidan Heaven, I know he was a bit of a youth prospect at the time, but ended up in the first team because he was that good. Works really hard. You move into the summer under Ruben Amorim. Brian Mbeumo, I would say our most talented player in the squad, if not the most talented player in the squad. Also works his absolute socks off. He's just a machine. Cunha, people were talking about his work rate when we bought him from Wolves. I mean, how many ball recoveries does he do in our third? He's all over the pitch. He works his socks off. He's running down, chasing the corner flags. He's everywhere. Sometimes I think he incorporates a bit of the Bruno trait where he's sometimes, if it's possible, doing a bit too much and leaving a bit of a gap sometimes because he's so hungry to go and chase down the ball. Sesko, really good attitude and comes in, really good work ethic, in before training starts, in after doing his recovery. Yeah, he's not the finished product, and again, he's another prospect that can hopefully grow into the finished product, but he's a grafter. And Semenyo, he fits that tag, that exactly what, that Super Chat's just put in, which is, I can't find it now, but whoever put it in, legend, because it was dead on. Semenyo fits, for me, Semenyo fits the Mbeumo bill. Super talented, but works really hard, great physically. He's got a good injury record as well. Ticks a lot of boxes. And like I said, it's not the be-all and end-all to be Premier League proven, but you usually do slot into the team a lot more seamlessly and there's not as big of an adaptation period. So they're all big ticks for me and a reason why we probably should be going for him, because we will need a player like that in the future, especially when we are playing 2 games a week. And if we don't pounce now, like I said, somebody else will do it. Olive says Amorim is always going to play Bruno and Casemiro, so it's better to bring some forwards, a striker and a wing back. In the summer, we've got more to bring in on Casemiro, but in the summer, that midfield pairing I expect to change. I'd be shocked if this time next year we're playing Casemiro and Bruno still in the midfield 2 games a week. So it will change, so we do need to invest into our midfield. Lee Cape Town says, I don't want to burst everyone's bubble, but Semenyo isn't happening. I am greedy in the midfield, yes. I'll take Anderson, Belieber in the summer and Gomez in January. Hi, Beth. I hope you are well. How do you... I do kind of understand your point. I am reluctant to believe that Semenyo will happen because I just don't think United will outlay 65 million on another forward player. But I think it could happen. I think United will consider it, knowing that one of their top targets is probably going to be signed to our biggest rival in Liverpool. They'll think about it for sure, but it's whether they can still afford the players that they have targeted for summer with also doing that deal. And it's also what kind of striker does Amorim want, because is Zirkzee going to get an opportunity? I've seen a couple of people in the comments talk about Mateta, which I think is a great point. I want to talk about that a little bit. Now Sesko is out injured, and I know Terry did the show last night and he spoke about this, but just to clarify, if anybody missed it and he's catching up. Manchester United striker Benjamin Sesko is set to be sidelined for around a month with a knee injury coming out from Laurie Whitwell. And then it came out a little bit later that the projected timeline for a return is 2 to 3 weeks as now, but it is subject to change and the club won't rush him back. When I see the project timeline for return is 2 to 3 weeks, subject to change, the club won't rush him back, and then Laurie Whitwell saying it's going to be a month, I'm saying 4 to 6 weeks. And that's me being optimistic. I think he will be out, unfortunately, for at least a month. So what's going to happen in our front line now? And bear in mind, we're playing 1 game a week at the moment. Not 2, 1. So 1 game a week, who's going to play up front? Well, you've got a couple options, really. You've got a few options. You've got the option of playing Zirkzee up front, which Amorim has rarely opted for so far this season. You have the option of playing Cunha up front, or you have the option of playing, Mason Mount up front, which he's also done. And Cunha and Mount kind of fall into the same bracket. It's the Mbeumo, Cunha and Mount front 3. You also have a situation where you could push Ahmad into the front 3 with an Mbeumo and Cunha, and you could play Dalot at wing back. But I like Ahmad at wing back, and I like the relationship he's building with Mbeumo on that side. So I would be, especially with the run of fixtures we've got coming up, I would like to be seeing Ahmad at wing back there, linking up with Mbeumo on that side. So which way is Amorim going to go? With 1 game a week, you can handle that. But with 2 games a week, we know Mason Mount can only play 1 game a week max, really. And as much as I hope he stays fit, his injury record, you can't rely on him. And is Zirkzee really a preferred choice for Amorim? Now, I've said on the show multiple times, and I stand by this, and I'm going to say it again. Zirkzee deserves the chance. Joshua Zirkzee, over the next month, whilst Benjamin Sesko is injured, deserves a chance. Sesko has had chances. Cunha's played there. Joshua Zirkzee deserves a chance. He was one of our best players the back end of last season. Really looked like he was coming into his own. Suddenly, in the summer, we sign a striker, which we needed to do, but because of the only 1 game a week, Joshua Zirkzee is left out in the cold. I understand why Amorim wanted to go with Benjamin Sesko over Joshua Zirkzee, because he's the new star striker signing for 70 million. He's the future. You want to invest in him. You want to get him adapted. You want to get him up to speed. I get it. Every manager would have done the same thing. However, I do actually think Zirkzee's deserved more minutes off the bench. And I do actually think Zirkzee deserves an opportunity now. He's not had a chance in this team with the likes of Acuna and Mbeumo. Look, Mbeumo can play anywhere, he's that good, but his absolute best position is as a right-sided 10. Him linking up with Ahmad on that side, we've seen how successful it can be. Cunha can do a job up front, he can because he's a good player, but his best position is as a left-sided 10. He's best as a 10. His ball carrying is one of his best attributes, and you don't get to see it as much when he's playing up front. And people wonder why sometimes we have a big gap between the defence and the front line, because we've got no one to kind of bring the ball out up the pitch. If Cunha's in the 10, he drops into the midfield, comes and picks it up, and he drives us up the pitch. It creates a lot of opportunities for us. If he's playing in the 9, that doesn't happen. So, yeah, I like the idea of you could play Mason Mount there, and when Mason Mount's in the 10, he can also drop in as a midfielder, and it really benefits us. So that's an option. But I think Zirkzee, the way he plays, is that Firmino-type facilitator number 9. I think with Mbeumo and Ahmad making runs off him, Cunha and Bruno in behind, I think he deserves some sort of opportunity. So I'd be looking to give him a chance. And I would be playing him right now. I mean, you can't even look to go for Semenyo until the start of January anyway, and we've got a whole month to play. So I think the Semenyo thing also, can Zirkzee come and improve himself? Don't get me wrong, I don't think Zirkzee's going to be at the level of Semenyo ever. I mean, I'd like to hope suddenly he gets a run in the team and surprises everyone and goes on that kind of spell of form. But Semenyo, I think, is the better player. However, I do think Zirkzee is a much better player than what he's being made out. I think he's got some really good attributes that can benefit us, and I think he's suffering from not being match sharp and not being given a chance with a good team behind him. When he was bought under Ten Hag, he had his adjustment period was a bit shaky. Then suddenly Ten Hag sacked, and then Amorim comes in, and then he's used with Højlund, and then he's used without Højlund, and then he actually comes in and does better than Højlund, then he gets the starting place, then he gets injured, and now he's actually got some really good quality players behind him. I'd like to see him function there and see what he can do. He might not take the opportunity, but I think he at least deserves a chance. So the Semenyo deal as well could really depend on, from now, for the next month, can Joshua Zirkzee come in and show he can do a bit? And if he comes into the team and plays the way that I think he can, United might say, you know what, Zirkzee's done a really good job while Sesko's been injured. We're happy with them too as our frontline players being depth across the season. I'm happy with them being our strikers. I know Zirkzee's very, very versatile and can play as a 10 or a striker, but we're happy with that depth. If Zirkzee comes in and doesn't look very good or doesn't adjust, then they might look at it and say, look, Ruben, are you looking to play Zirkzee? You might be like, no. Sesko's not 100% settled in and flying yet. Let's get someone to just help out a little bit, and let's go with Semenyo, because next season when we're in Europe, he's going to be flying. He's flying now. He's coming in a rich vein of form. He can start as he means to go on and continue the form that he's begun this season. Match sharpness, confidence, all of that coming in midway through a season, it really can boost you, especially if we're in the hunt for top 5. So I think getting Semenyo in would also depend on how Zirkzee does, if he does get given that opportunity. How does Cunha do if he gets given the opportunity to play up front? Personally, like I said, I want to see Cunha in the 10. That's where I think you see the best of him. That's where I think you get the best out of him. I want to see Mbeumo, playing to the right of that. And I'd like to see Zirkzee get a chance down the middle. But let's see what Ruben Amorim decides to do. He's preferred so far this season to go for Acuna up front than bringing Joshua Zirkzee in. And maybe that's because he likes the idea of bringing Mason Mount in. But yeah, that's where we're at so far with that. And we've nearly got 5,000 votes on the poll now. And it still is at 64% for Antoine Semenyo for 65 million. So most of you would go with Semenyo. And I like that. We've got money in the summer to go for midfielders. Also, remember what Ben Jacobs said? I mean, I don't know how quickly it would come into action, but PSR and FFP, the rules might be changing slightly, which could benefit Manchester United in terms of how much money we can spend. That's tough, says they are preserving Zirkzee's value to sell him. It's obvious. I don't think so, because it was reported last week that Manchester United's stance is absolutely no sale for Joshua Zirkzee in January. They want to keep him as squad depth. So I don't think that they are preserving him for that reason. Crossfium says Sesko won't even come back and slide back into the starting lineup. He'll come off the bench. He has done that most of the season so far. Exactly. So, as much as we all want him to be starting firing straight away, he just might need quite a long adjustment period of no pressure coming off the bench. I mean, when Sesko's starting games and he's coming, and I mean, the pressure on him to go out there and perform is huge right now, because there's not really an out-and-out striker. If you have Semenyo and Mbeumo and Cunha all flying, he can come off the bench, he can make an impact. It's a bit less pressure. So anyway, that's my pitch. That's my pitch for it. Let me know your thoughts. The last thing I'll speak about before we bring in some more news as well is, I mean, in the Express, they spoke about the opportunity of Joshua Zirkzee going to Bournemouth to sweeten the deal. I know the release clause is 65, but could there be a negotiation to bring that down even further with an inclusion of Joshua Zirkzee in the deal? They said Joshua Zirkzee has fallen completely out of favour at United and needs a move away to keep his World Cup dream alive. Bournemouth are not without options in attacking areas, but Adoni Areola has used both Evanilson and Eli Junior Krupi this season, and the starting spot is seemingly up for grabs. Zirkzee's playmaking abilities may also allow the likes of Justin Kluivert, Marcus Tavernier and David Brooks to thrive, potentially playing alongside either Evanilson or Junior Krupi. He could leave on loan or permanently, depending on Bournemouth's plans to replace Semenyo if he departs. So, I mean, it's an option. I think that's more of an opinion piece than actual Bournemouth are interested in Zirkzee. But if Zirkzee was open to the move, game time, Bournemouth are doing really well. I mean, they're on a European hunt, and their manager is fantastic. I do think his playmaking abilities would suit the likes of the players they've got. That's just named there. And they will want to replace Semenyo. If he does leave in the first 2 weeks of January, of course, they'll need to replace him. What players are readily available that are high on your wish list in January. It's not a big market in January. It's not as if you've got a while to scout. I mean, Bournemouth are a well-run club, so they've probably already scouted Semenyo's replacement and have them ready to go because they'll know that release clause is in there for the first 2 weeks of January. So it wouldn't surprise me if next thing you know, Bournemouth has signed a wonder kid from either Europe or South America, and they come in and they become the next, I don't know, they become the next Semenyo or the next Mbeumo or whatever. However, sometimes it is more difficult to buy players that are ready to go in January, and if United did offer Zirkzee part of the deal and Zirkzee accepted that with the opportunity to play regular football in hopes of getting into the World Cup team, World Cup squad, I should say, knowing Bournemouth are doing really well and are on a hunt for European football this season, could be an option. I mean, it's not completely out of the question, so I thought it was an interesting think piece anyway to kind of chew over a little bit this morning. And then with the Mateta stuff, so much striker talk, but, you know, I mean, if someone gives me the opportunity to speak about Mateta, I'm going to speak about Mateta, because this is where it gets interesting. It's purely off your comments, by the way, and this is why I love the community. Mateta or Semenyo? I'm not saying you'd be able to get Mateta in January. Absolutely no chance on this earth you'd be able to get Mateta in January. Not unless you go and slapped, you know, 100 million down on the table to Crystal Palace and said, take it or leave it. You're just not doing. But in the summer, they could be more open to negotiations. However, I do think Adam Wharton will go, which will probably make it more difficult to do a Mateta deal. They're not going to want to lose two of their best players. However, if you spend that money on Semenyo in January, I don't see United getting another forward player in the summer at all. We don't go and sign another striker. If you don't get Semenyo and he ends up going to a Liverpool, begrudgingly, I would be so gutted, but I think that's what will end up happening anyway. It comes to the summer and United are in the market for an experienced striker to go alongside Sesko and give a bit of depth. Mateta for me would be the obvious choice. However, Crystal Palace are probably going to demand big money for him because he's a really good player that once again is tearing up the Premier League. I mean, a lot of us in the community said that we'd go for Mateta in the summer. And right here, right now, Mateta would have been a better signing this summer than Sesko. He would have been. For the now, Amorim wants ready-made players. Like I said, don't underestimate the value of having someone ready to come in and hit the ground running. I mean, look at what he's done so far this season. I know he's in a settled team, but Mateta is ready, he's raring, he's going into his prime. I'm just going to check his contract situation out really quickly. He's 28 years old, and he's a bit older than I thought he was. His contract with Crystal Palace was extended until June 2027. So he's 28 years old with the contract extension until June 2027. If he doesn't sign a new deal, United could get him for quite a decent price in the summer. 28 is a good balance for Benjamin Sesko at 22. Comes in, you know, plays his football for Manchester United and takes everything he's learnt from his experience at Crystal Palace in the Premier League, brings it in, helps Benjamin Sesko, will absolutely play, and he'll probably be the first choice. But Sesko can come in, can learn off him. He'll still get a load of game time, especially with European football. I think it's something to think about. And he's more of the out-and-out striker, you know, bully in the box. He's going to bully defenders. He's going to win you the ball. He's going to charge up the pitch with the ball at his feet. He's fast. He's strong. He's got everything. And I know it's an unpopular opinion, and I'm absolutely behind Benjamin Sesko. But that's why quite a few of us were calling for that deal in the summer, because he would have been doing that already. And he probably would have cost you less, to be honest with you. Yes, okay, his age is higher. He's 28, Benjamin Sesko's 22. But he would have been ready for the now. In the summer, would you go for that deal? I mean, if his contract is extended until 2027, June 2026, he'll have a year left on his deal, 28 years old. I think you could get him out for 40 mil. 45 mil max out of Crystal Palace. So should United sign Mateta? Actually, the poll is up there. Wait, cancel the poll. Cancel the poll. I want another poll. Would you rather sign Semenyo in January or Mateta in the summer? Because it could only be one. I mean, I don't even know if United are going to eye up Mateta, but if we're going for an experienced striker to help Sesko out in the summer, that's if Sesko needs it. You never know. We might absolutely, you know, just start flying out of nowhere at some point, you know, after Christmas. But, you know, if he keeps developing week in, week out, Sesko, he's still going to need a little bit of help. So you need depth. I mean, look at the days under Sir Alex Ferguson where you've got four top strikers competing. Sesko is learning his trade. He's not quite at the top of his game yet, and we need someone else to come in and kind of help carry the game time a little bit. So would you rather go for a Semenyo, a versatile type forward in the January, or would you rather go for Mateta, an experienced out-and-out striker in the summer, no messing, both Premier League proven, both going to come in and hit the ground running, and I think both could work in this system? What would you rather do? I mean, a couple people in the comments saying Strand Larsen could be available as well. I mean, are we just going to raid Wolves for everyone? João Gomez is on the scene, isn't it? Strand Larsen is an interesting one. By the way, I mean, vote in that poll. While we're on the striker talk, would you take Strand Larsen in the summer? If Wolves were going down and Strand Larsen was a cut price deal, would you take him? I would. I think he's a good player. He's not an Erling Haaland, no, but I think he'd come in and do decently well, especially if he's you know, a little bit of depth to go with Benjamin Sesko. I would absolutely take him. I think he could do a job for us. There'll be a few options we can look at. Daniel Thompson says it's a risk, but sometimes high risk, high reward. I'd go for Semenyo in January. Midfield is my priority, like everyone, but I think Semenyo is just a golden opportunity, too good to miss out. I'll vote on the poll when I've let it marinate for a little bit and let you guys have your say, because I'm really interested. I'm torn. I'm really torn because I think Mateta would benefit Sesko more, and I think he's that out-and-out striker option that will absolutely score you goals week in, week out, I think. I think the main thing is he would benefit Sesko a lot. It's the right age profile, it's the right experience level, and he will also be able to benefit United, most importantly, straight away. However, Semenyo, he's got the highest ceiling. He's got such a high ceiling, and he could have... It's high risk, high reward. You could really reap the benefits of that. He's got such a high ceiling and he's got a higher trajectory, in my opinion. He's 25 years old, Semenyo, so he fits into that category of the Brian Mbeumo's, the Mateus Cunha, coming in at the prime of their career, about to enter their prime years in the Premier League, has got Premier League experience behind them. It's an interesting one for sure, but vote on that. I am going to move on to something else for now because we've been speaking about the strikers for so long, but I think it's a really important discussion point, especially when we've got Zirkzee not being able to get off the bench, Sesko now out injured, and Amorim has a vision, and sometimes it involves playing an out-and-out striker and sometimes it involves playing a versatile type forward as well. So both of them could fit. So I think it's a good discussion point. And we know United are going to add another striker. We are going to do it. Don't know if it'll be in January, but we absolutely are in 2026 because we want to add a little help and support for Sesko. So I think it's a really good topic and talking point to get into. Rocky Francis says, it's my birthday. Rocky, happy birthday from everyone here at the United Stand. What a way to celebrate on a Tuesday morning with this community. But let's move on a little bit. I want to talk about Ligt, but keep voting in that poll and let me know your thoughts. So, Ligt for the Netherlands against Lithuania. 90 minutes, clean sheet, one penalty one penalty won, 9 recoveries, 2 clearances, 2 interceptions, 0 times dribbled past, 92 touches. So just to reiterate that, Ligt against Lithuania alongside Virgil van Dijk for the Netherlands, 90 minutes, clean sheet, 1 penalty won, 9 recoveries, 2 clearances, 2 interceptions, 0 times dribbled past, 92 touches. An absolute colossal performance. He also won 100% of his aerial duels and had a passing accuracy of 88%. Gakpo did go on to convert the penalty that he did win for the Netherlands. So Ronald Koeman might be finally waking up to the fact that Ligt is a top quality defender. I know he's had his ups and downs for the Netherlands in the past, but I'm glad that he got the nod alongside Virgil van Dijk last night. And they've qualified now, the Netherlands, for the World Cup. De Ligt was in and out of the national team for a little bit. Yeah, people saying Lithuania are poor. It doesn't matter. You know, you can only beat who's in front of you. It's Lithuania. Yeah, it's Lithuania. But, you know, you can only beat who is in front of you at the end of the day. And I'm glad De Ligt is finally getting the nod, because Ronald Koeman's not always gravitated towards him. And I think he's reaping the rewards of all the hard work he's put in. Him himself has said it's the first time he's had a full pre-season with the same coach in a very, very long time. I think it was since his last year at Ajax, which is so long, without any competition in the summer to play, and with the same manager, having a full pre-season, no injuries. And he's played every single minute in the Premier League for Manchester United so far this season. Going under the radar for me, really is. And I know he's starting to get his flowers and get his recognition, but I really hope he can continue with the Netherlands, have a cracking World Cup next season, and just keep going on to be the centre-back that he can be, the potential that's there. Because even De Ligt, I mean, we got absolute bargain in hindsight with De Ligt, didn't we? How much did he cost us? What was it, like 40 million? He's 26 years old and he's only just turned 26. He's not even in his prime years for a centre-back yet. He's won stuff in Serie A, he's won stuff in the Bundesliga, he's won stuff in the Eredivisie. He is captained Ajax at 18 years old. He's played in Champions League semi-final. And he's just finally come to life for Manchester United. This season is his season, and I'm really, really happy for him, because he's another one with the right characteristics being rewarded by Ruben Amorim. So, but the main thing is with De Ligt is we've got to build around him. We've got to build around him. And I think that is why we will be targeting a left-sided centre-back in the summer window. We're going to ask Ben Jacobs about that on Thursday when he's on the show, but you look at the defensive line, if it continues under Amorim, De Ligt is the heart and soul of that in the centre. You have Luke Shaw to the left currently, or Lisandro Martinez. You have Lenny Yoro or Mazraoui to the right. And then you have your two wing-backs in Amad and Dorgu. I'd probably say the first choice is maybe Amad and Dalot right now. So if you look at that back five, I think De Ligt is the absolute nailed on. I mean, he's played every single minute in the Premier League, and he's, like I said, he's just turned 26. He's the one that we're kind of be building around in that back line. Lenny Yoro, 19, also has just kept a clean sheet as well, playing for the French under-21s. I think he's going to be the right-sided centre-back for the future. I do think he will be. So you have Lenny Yoro there. I would argue that you still need a bit of depth just in case anything happens. People say, well, that's where Mazraoui comes in. I'm slightly concerned about Mazraoui's injuries. I think Mazraoui is one of the best players in our team. He can play wing-back, he can play right-sided centre-back. Right-sided centre-back is my favoured position for him. But he's injured a lot at the moment, so that's where I worry a little bit. So you can probably get away with that right side of defence for now, with Lenny Yoro there being the man that's going to take it for the future, and with Mazraoui there as an experienced help. He's one of the senior leadership team. He's part of the senior leadership team as well. So you can kind of get away with not bringing anyone else in the right-sided centre-back role, because you've got it covered there with Lenny Yoro and Mazraoui. Left side, Luke Shaw, as well as he's been playing, and I think he's been playing fantastic. Can't rely on him because of injuries. Lisandro Martinez, as much as we all love the Butcher, can't rely on him because of injuries. So that position has to be addressed. And I've not even gone to the community comments yet, but I can already feel people saying, what about Aiden Heaven? What about Aiden Heaven? Aiden Heaven absolutely is an option, but you can't put all your eggs in that basket. We're going to be playing European football next season. We need two left-sided centre-backs that are ready to start. So Aiden Heaven, yeah, okay. But I think he should be still kind of integrating himself into the team at that point, coming on here and there, playing matches here and there. You ideally want your nailed-on starting left-sided centre-back, and you're just relying and hoping and praying that Luke Shaw and Martinez are going to be fit. And when you've got 2 games a week, I think that's quite optimistic. Left wing-back, we need to improve. He can't decide between Dalot and Dorgu, and usually I think when a manager can't really decide who's his best player there, it means you need an upgrade. Because Dalot and Dorgu have both had their highs and lows this season. I mean, with Dalot on the left side, struggled to find a high. I think the one I can point out was the fact he kept Salah quiet in the Liverpool game, although his attacking output in that game was poor. And then his assist in the Burnley game at Old Trafford, but he just kind of cost us a goal 5 minutes before that. So, Dorgu, like I said, he's got attributes, but you need a left wing back. I think you can get away with Ahmad and Dalot on the right for another season. Ahmad, for me, is our best wing back, absolutely, and I see him as a starter, and I don't see any need to replace Ahmad at all. I want to actually elevate him, but again, you're going to be playing 2 games a week. So you need to rest players, you need to ensure that you've got cover there. Are you accepting of Dalot being that cover, being that squad option that is going to play probably 1 game a week there? Or definitely going to play minutes? I think you can get away with that. So within the defensive line, next summer, whether Ineos want to start it off in January, I think you need 2. I think you need a left-sided centre-back and you need a left wing-back. You go into the midfield, like I said, if you start off in January, João Gomez, replacement for Ugarte. If you're going to hold out, then you get 2 midfielders in the summer. But if you get João Gomez in January and then Bruno and Casemiro both go in the summer, you might end up with 3 new midfielders, including João Gomez, which I think could, would benefit Manchester United to have that depth there. And then you look at the front line, and we are going to need a striker. Goalkeeper, I mean, Seny Larmans, I have full faith in. If Bayndé does want to go to get game time, we're going to get money in. I mean, it won't be a lot, but you don't spend a lot of money on a backup goalkeeper, so that doesn't really worry me too much. So there you're looking at left wing back, left-sided centre-back, 2 midfielders at least, and a forward. You're looking at 5 players. I mean, you could do one of the midfielders, but I'm going to count that as like an extra one, in January. And then you could do one of the forwards in January. So then you've got 4 to go and get in the summer. I think that's reasonable. And then there's an other part of the story, which is if Harry Armas continues the way he's going at Sheffield Wednesday, could he solve the left wing-back issue? Then you go down to 3. Have I done that right? Have I done that right? Left-sided centre-back, left wing-back, a midfielder. Oh no, you need 4, because you need another midfielder. You need 2 midfielders. So you've got 4 there. That is reasonable to be able to do in one summer. So there's a lot of ifs and buts, and some might say, will Harry Armas be ready? But he's looking really good at Sheffield Wednesday right now, and if he continues the way he is, he might solve that left wing-back issue on his own. So you could be in a situation where you could actually solve the majority of the problems that need solving and still be able to go for Semenyo in January. Nos says we need Antonio Nusa. He is magical. He's put that in twice now. Rob Always United said, loved the bees in the trap video, Beth. Epic lol. Yeah, that was jokes. When I need to get the team to do another one. If you've seen my TikTok, you'll know what Rob Always United's talking about there. Getting Ricky singing bees in the trap, Nicki Minaj. Lee Cape Town says, oh, I've done that one. Thank you, Lee, for your super chat there. Let me see some more comments coming in. Ivan Lynn says, I think Gay from Palace would be great upgrade on Shaw and Martinez because of injuries. Oh, you know what? I mean, I've spoken about it loads. If Liverpool get Champions League football, like Mr. Brightsider says, I'm pretty sure that he's going to end up going to Liverpool because all of the pre-work has been done on that. But could you imagine if you're in a situation where you manage to get Gay on a free? Whoever goes and gets Gay in the summer, hats off. Because what a player, what a talent. Is it the age bracket that is perfect for our squad right now? Experience under his belt, Crystal Palace captain, England international, will be starting in the World Cup. Will probably want his future wrapped up before he goes to the World Cup because he is out of contract. 25 years old, going to be 26 in July. He's just perfect. Bags of Premier League experience and top quality. I mean, if you can go and get him, then that saves your money as well. So you could get, if United are smart about it, you could even get your left-sided centre-back on a free. And I do think he'll end up going to Liverpool, unfortunately, because they've done the groundwork on him. But you've just got to hope Liverpool continue to trip up this season and United get Champions League football. If United get Champions League football, you're in with a chance. You're in with a slight chance. But people are saying we need all these positions. It is feasible to solve them, like I've just gone through there. So yeah, I wouldn't write Semenyo off just because we need quite a few players in the summer. Plus as well, yeah, Casemiro is going to be going on a free, but it's 350 grand off the wage bill every week, or maybe 300 grand with the reduction of the Champions League money. If Bruno Fernandes goes, Saudi will pay us, and it'd probably be at least 60 million. And again, it's 350 grand off the wage bill if he does decide to go. And if he doesn't go, you're not going to buy another midfielder. You're going to have, or maybe you do because Mainoo's like, I'm not being Bruno's understudy again. But then if Mainoo goes, you're going to at least get around 40, 50 million of pure profit. So there's going to be money there to spend on the midfield because of the wages that are going to be going out on off the wage bill, and because of the fees that we could potentially bring in for these players, either a Mainoo or a Bruno, whichever one does go. There will be money to buy a forward player and buy midfielders, left-sided centre-back if you're smart about it and try and go for, I mean, Gay's absolute top of the tree, and you could potentially get him on a free. So you just got to be smart with these things, but United have got to beat top clubs in races, and we've not always been necessarily be good at that. But it's all ifs and buts, isn't it? So let's see what Manchester United can do there. Last but not least, on the Casemiro thing, I just wanted to kind of bring in what Paul Scholes said. Paul Scholes recently on his podcast, he said, look, Casemiro has been a great player, but I think he's actually playing a bit better this year than he was last year. I think you have to take his age into account now. What is he, 32, 33? I don't know. I think they'll probably move on after his deal is done. And he's 33, currently 34 in Feb. So unless Casemiro takes massively reduced wages, I think he's going to leave. 300 grand off the wage bill, potentially even 350 if we've got Champions League football. There's money to invest there into new midfielders, whether we sign a forward player or not. So I don't think anyone should be too worried about money. We have to be careful, of course, because of the situation we've put ourselves in with the credit card payments, the debt that the Glazers have built up over the years. And, we've got to stay within FFP, PSR. Of course we do. However, we generate a lot of revenue, and Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe will be hoping that they can generate a little bit from sales, which I've just spoken about. And the most important thing, we'll be hoping we have some sort of European football. Europa League brings money in. Champions League, even better. You've got a really good injection of cash then into your transfer kitty, and you can go and get the players that Ruben Amorim really needs to take this squad to the next level. So anyway, we'll keep it at that. Stephen Brown says pay Gay 250 grand a week and we would get him. Well, you can afford to go higher on the wage because you are getting him on a free transfer, and you can work that in with a signing on fee as well. So yeah, anyway, that's the show. Thank you very much everyone for watching. Absolutely flew by talking a little bit about the future of signings, and yeah, I'm excited. There's some really exciting names that we are linked to. Semenyo, Gay would be the dream. I've just realised I didn't choose between Semenyo or Mateta. 77% went Semenyo in January, 23% went with Mateta in the summer. I'm going to go with all you lovely people, and it's a close one. It's closer than that for me, but I'd go with Semenyo in January just for that higher ceiling and what he could bring over a longer period of time. Thank you everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video. Have a lovely Tuesday, and I will see you on the next one.